Hey everybody, welcome back to my Reddit video. This is going to be my first in a series of malicious compliance. So let's get right on into it. This story is posted by Indigo Wolf. Shut my mouth and get out of your bar. Okay. I used to work at a bar as an only female security. They had some very bad things happen when a man followed a woman in the bathroom, so they needed a woman to keep an eye on what happened in there. The bar got in legal trouble at the time. The bathroom thing above, the fire marshal closing them on some busy week nights for being way over capacity, and the liquor board had pulled their license once for over serving minors with pretty obvious fake IDs. I was one of the new security hired to help resolve all this. It was so bad we had to be trained by a government ATF person and get a card to prove that we knew how to spot and stop overserves and spot fake IDs. I think the real reason they hired us was to have scapegoats on the ready for the next time they did this. So I worked there for a while doing my best. The owner's wife was the worst. She was always drunk and always had her friends in the bar and bent the rules for them. She thought she was Lady Jesus and we should all be kissing her feet because she was the owner's wife. I mostly stayed out of her way and had no issues, but many of my coworkers complained about her. One night, some dudes gets sick on the way to the bathroom. I cut him off. He ends up getting escorted out by his less drunk friends. I notice a man sitting by the bar watching this. He had creased slacks and a jacket, indoors on a summer night, but no drink in his hand. At a busy meat market dance club. I started watching him and noticed the badge under his jacket. Aha! He was here to watch for overserving. A little later, a woman came into the bathroom, drunk enough to need to hold on to the walls for dear life. I cut her off. She screams at me, then goes back in the bathroom and tries to wash the giant black Sharpie X's from both of her hands. I warn her that she'll be kicked out of the club if she continues. She screams again and staggers out of the bathroom. About 5 minutes later, the owner's wife is in my face screaming. The woman I had cut off was one of her friends attending a bachelorette party in the VIP section. And I was supposed to somehow magically know she was VIP. I was also apparently supposed to break the law for her because she was a VIP. So, the law was followed, and I informed her about the police officer at the bar, but she screamed at me in my face, "Shut your mouth and get out of my bar." She fired me on the spot. I didn't bother waiting to see if her husband agreed. It was known she wore the pants. I complied. I shut my mouth and got out of the bar. I walked past the cops, still standing at the end of the bar near the bathrooms, where the screaming match had taken place. I made eye contact with him, gave a slight nod, to which he responded by looking at the boss's wife and rolling his eyes, and smiling at me as I left. They got shut down that night for overserving the bachelorette party. This time, they went out of business because they had too many strikes against them. What a perfect story of malicious compliance. And we're on to our next video. This is posted by Philomena Noir. This is not an on-call or overtime work? Okay. I was a programmer working to build up a new department where I was the only staff member other than my manager. My manager would talk to clients and I did everything else. I had about 40 clients with websites getting information from 80-ish satellite communication sensor arrays with up-to-the-minute updates on those web pages, which I also built. I built a whole monitoring system to text or email me if there was an issue. As more clients came online, the notification of the system being unresponsive or missing data retrieval windows became more frequent. I had to log in after hours to fix things. I was mostly doing this because I cared about my work and knew we were still ironing out issues. When I would fix things after hours, my manager was very stingy. He told me unless it was more than an hour of work at once, I should not get paid for this time. I told him it was getting to be a lot of little intervals in the evenings and weekends, and I should be paid to be on call. He refused to discuss on call. And even few times he did get some evening payout. It was my regular hourly wage with no extra pay for overtime. I also found out a few months later that I was paid over $10,000 less than the salespeople were selling the services I created. Pause. What the fuck? Not cool. Not cool. Not cool. Not cool. So I confront my manager about the on-call and overtime again. I tell him that my time outside of work is being significantly affected by these after-hour issues, waking me and my partner up in the middle of the night, and needs to pay me to do on-call. I had done this for over a year now with literally no breaks. Well, it's really not on-call. If something breaks in the evening, I'm watching for it and fixing it. What is that? I ask calmly. You occasionally see if things are working and fix them if they're broken. That's not on call. That's just caring about your job while we get things working. We're not paying you for after hours work, he says. Okay, I understand. That weekend I turned my phone off since I'm not on call, and the system that my system relied on goes down. All the data flow stops and everything comes crashing down. I turn my phone on Monday morning and my phone tries to process over 1,100 text notifications and even more emails and freezes. I get to work and my manager's phone is ringing off the hook and I hear clients yelling at him on the phone. He's red like a tomato and freaking out. He demands to know what happened and why it's not been fixed yet. I reply, I don't know, I wasn't on call, and walk out of his office and leave him with an angry client. I quit a month later. TLDR, my manager would not pay me for on-call or overtime, tried to gaslight me that it wasn't on-call work, and I let the entire system collapse on the weekend. If that's not malicious compliance to the actual T, I don't know what is. That's such a great story. This story is posted by Delurker85. Manager gives me a hard time for clocking out of work on time. I'm a 37 female working as a porter, fancy title for a custodian/maintenance person, working for a fast food chain. Annoying designations. Me equals me, AGM equals assistant general manager. One shift about a year ago, I had just gotten done rushing around and cleaning and fixing everything in our restaurant that I could find. My shift was over. So as many are mandated to do, I let my AGM know that I was done with all my job duties, which were far fewer at the time, and that I was going to clock off and head home. For additional information, after I did my job duties, I often went and asked my coworkers if they'd like me to do anything to help them with their jobs to pass the time until my shift was over. As I was still on clock after all, and I don't believe letting someone pay for the work that they aren't getting. And I was out of things to do that would fall under the category of my responsibilities. He gave me the same disapproving look that I might have given me if I arbitrarily asked to leave 3 hours early, and made some derogatory statements. I don't remember anymore, but I simply said, okay, you're the boss, and I didn't leave. I was given the impression that I was a bad employee somehow by actually leaving when my schedule said. I didn't appreciate being told one thing in my schedule, then I followed what I was told, being treated like I was in the wrong. So I decided I would stay and find things to do until he came to tell me when he felt it was appropriate for me to clock out. If you want to increase labor costs, who am I to turn down some pay? First half hour, I'm unintentionally in the kitchen staff's way, cleaning stations, wiping down walls, changing trash bags. Second half hour, I'm underfoot while trying to fetch things to stock products. I need to clean things I've already cleaned. Hour 3, he saw me in the dish pit doing all the dishes for the kitchen staff. I finally decide, after being over there for 3 hours after my shift was supposed to be over, that I need to use the restroom. I walk through the kitchen to go to the restrooms and run into my AGM on the way, looking surprised to see me. I thought you left already. Nope, you seemed so upset that I was leaving, I thought you needed my help. AGM seems distressed about the problem he may have created for himself. Well, what are you working on? Said me, well, I'm almost done with all the dishes. He knows this isn't my job. Well, you can go now if you want. After that, no one at my workplace ever gave me a hard time about clocking out on time again. Some of them even used to actively seek me out when it was time for me to clock out to ensure I knew it was okay for me to leave if my job duties were fulfilled. Of course, they always were. Things are different now, and I have a whole new list of job duties with 3 times the amount of jobs to do on it. It felt nice not to get the stink eye just because I was following the schedule they provided for me. If you schedule me for 4 a.m., expect me at 3:58. If you schedule me to be off at 10 a.m., expect me to leave at 10 a.m. That essentially is the agreement. I stick to it. Why shouldn't you? No, that's a fair point, honestly. It's a pretty fair point that we should follow our schedules. Like, at my job, I'm always there 30 minutes early, but I'm not getting paid for that time, and that's an expectation. And I recently stopped doing that, and my manager started having an issue with it. I told my manager that, you know what, I'm not being paid for this 30 minutes, so I'm not going to show up anymore. So, if my schedule says something, I'm going to follow it. Which, makes the most sense out of everything. We shouldn't be coming in 15 minutes early to our shift. Like, we shouldn't be expected to be there any time but the time that our schedule says. I hope you guys enjoyed this Reddit video and me testing out a new style of video with my Factorial content. If you did like it, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!